Hello everybody, welcome back to the finale of Metroid Prime Hard 100% Scans and Items PAL Mode walkthrough. Oh, there we go. I thought for the final part, I might as well say the entire title. Right, so first off the bat, we have these weird creature things, which are like the parasitic creature type bug things. You only find them in the impact craters, so make sure you scan them. Easy one to miss. After that, we're in this big room. This big room's going to lead us to the final boss. Now, there's nothing really much else to say about this. I wouldn't recommend killing the Metroids. The reason for this is that they just come back. And they multiply. It's more of a pain than it's actually worth. I would recommend just going for it, and you should get lucky and manage to avoid them. If you don't, it's no real problem. You can just take care of them as and when. But it's easier to take care of ones that actually directly attack you, rather than, just trying to deal with them all at once. That room is pretty much essential because we need missiles. We were pretty low on missiles for the entirety of our time up until Metroid because of the Omega Pirate. So now we just need a complete refresh. Ah, so close to the boss. Don't attack me, please. Bugger off. Let's see, we got... yeah. If you can get through a door, for some reason, Metroids can't go through doors. So, yeah, go through there. You can use a spider ball track, but honestly, that super phase on or whatever it is doesn't deal that much damage. So if you double jumping across it, you'll get a bit of damage, but not enough to really matter. So now we're at the final boss. There's not really a lot to say about the final boss. One thing you should obviously bear in mind is that the final boss, the final form, doesn't require any missiles at all. You only damage it using phase on, and as such, you don't need to worry about your missiles for the final part. You don't need to hoard them for anything. So now we've got 250 missiles, we're gonna pretty much go nuts. Make sure you don't shoot it like that, where he's like at an upward angle, because they'll just ricochet off him. You have to get a good clean hit at his eyes. Obviously, if you've played the main game, you're aware that whatever colour he is, that's the colour you're going to hit him with. So, pretty much just go nuts on him. Now he's changing to wave, so we can activate our wave buster thing, which is quite good because it looks like a Ghostbusters type weapon, and it proper lays into him. There we go. Now, as soon as you see that recoil animation, stop. You don't want to waste any more missiles. Like, with super missiles, it's fine. You waste whatever it is. I wasted maybe 30 super missiles. Oh, actually no, it's not too bad. I thought I wasted a lot more with the wave buster than I actually did. I probably wasted quite a lot and then picked up a bunch. But yeah, just be aware that the secondary fire on the wave beam and the plasma beam are just ridiculous. For this second part, whenever you've got the ice, you just want to freeze his eyes and then missile. This part you have trenches because he goes a little bit nuts and starts to plough across. Make sure you roll underneath him. You don't want to get any more damage than you need to. So, attack him, missile him, and then as soon as he does that, get in the trench, wait till he runs over, rinse and repeat. Job's good. Okay, now, while I'm not talking about this boss, I'm actually gonna just talk about my plans for the future, and talk about this run in general. In terms of being a hard mode, the game isn't overly difficult. Like with a lot of Metroid games, the game actually gets easier the more you progress, because you're getting more upgrades and shit like that, so you're starting to get stronger and stronger. And yeah, it's definitely something where eventually you'll just kind of feel overpowered. Like, even these later bosses, if you know what you're doing and you know the general tactic, it's not overly difficult. By the way, this form is pretty much a similar type of thing. He will kind of drag you in and hit you, so try and find missiles off at him when he does it, but it's not too bad. But yeah, it's the same idea. You hit him, and he'll charge you, and you just get in the pits. Try your best to pull away and get him while he's pulling you. It's a little bit annoying, but there it is. Oh shit. Yeah, so hard mode isn't too difficult. There's some parts that are quite annoying, like Metroid's got a lot of health, and the final form of Metroid Prime is also a bit of a bugger as well, again, just because of the health. But it's not too bad. I wouldn't recommend, like, doing it all the time. I would recommend just sticking to normal for the most part. It's still worth doing hard ones, you know, for the laugh. And also you get, like, the secret ending and shit like that, so it's sort of worth it to do at least once. Right, whenever he comes to this plasma form, and he fires off these balls, you want to be shooting them. Now, he does that with the other ones too, so make sure you're using the correct gun. The balls also do a fair amount of damage, so make sure you take them out before him. He's not really that much of a threat, so just deal with him when you deal with him. Bugger off. Ah, that beam is really annoying when it hits. Just can't lock on. Go on, you bastard. There we go. As for being a 100% run, 100% is not too difficult to get. I mean, it's just regards to collecting the items and stuff and knowing where things are. It's pretty straightforward. 100% of scans is definitely a lot harder. 100% of scans is something that you need to be really careful of. There's quite a few missable things, and if you don't miss it, some of the things require a fair bit of backtracking, like pirate data. You know, there was that one level where, you know, I missed the pirate data and had to do it on the way back. That's annoying as hell. And is shit. Yeah, definitely take care of those balls first because they do a lot of damage. Yeah, so missing stuff can be a bit of a pain when it comes to scans. You've just got to be careful. If you've been watching the video and watching where I scan, following that will net you 100% of scans. Like, I'm only missing one thing, I'm at 99% at the moment. And then obviously scanning the final boss will get me the 100%. But yeah, I mean, some of the things, like, I missed my first opportunity. For a lot of the things, like a lot of the enemies, for example, it doesn't really matter because you will get other opportunities. Just be aware there are some enemies where it does matter. There you go. So now we've just got the one pit in the middle. But again, he's pretty much doing the same thing. The only thing is with his final phase is he'll just randomly start changing colours. Which is annoying as hell. Come on, bugger off. Thank you. So sometimes you'll try and hit him with one colour, and he will just suddenly change. There we go, bugger off. Right, with regards to what I do next, obviously the next obvious choice is Echoes, which is actually my favourite Metroid Prime game. And actually, considering it is my favourite Metroid game. First would be Metroid Prime Echoes, then it would be probably Zero Mission. Then Metroid Prime 1, then maybe Fusion or Super Metroid, then the other one. Cool. Yeah, and then Metroid 1, and then Metroid 2. Anyway, yeah, I'm not ordering, I'm not making a list of Metroid games. But yeah, Echoes is a definite obvious choice next. The only problem is, if I do 100% scans and items, which I'll probably do at some point, it's just going to require a fair amount of... it's going to require a fair amount of mapping, because I'm not really familiar with the 100% of the locations of both the scans and the items. Even though it is my favourite, I'm not as familiar with the locations of everything, so it's going to be a little bit trickier. I'm going to have to play through the game at least once to kind of note down where everything is and then how I plan to go through everything. So what I was thinking next is I might actually do a low percent guide, which will mainly involve like tricks on how to bypass stuff and then obviously how to overcome the difficulty of some parts, because especially like bosses will be particularly difficult in low percent. Not going to do low percent, because low percent is going to be tricky, but there you go. Now, you should get like 100% scans notification with this boss, by the way, but I've already done 100% before to get the gallery items, so it didn't give me the notification. But you should get a notification saying 100%, but it is 100%. Right, so with this boss, it's relatively straightforward. There's nothing really to kind of mention. Just step in the plasma and fire at him. Now if you step in and out of the plasma, you can get like a little bit more, so just hold A and dip in and out, and you can kind of get like a little bit more out of each one. But hard mode is just so troll. I mean, look at the fucking health on that bugger. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You just don't do any damage to it. So yeah, he's a bit annoying. There's no real tricks, I'd say, you know. Whenever it comes to, like, the pools, just fill them up, get rid of him with the correct visor, then they'll start spawning Metroids. Like so. No, he's doing his wave blast. Right, I'll wait until the Metroids appear and tell you how to deal with them, and then I'll start calling it quits, I think. Come on. The thing is, I don't actually mind the Metroid Prime boss. I think the final boss of this game is kinda neat. Especially like the final form, I think looks really cool. But on hard mode, I just don't enjoy it at all. There we go. I mean, it just takes forever. Come on. It's not even difficult. Like when it comes to shockwave, jump over them, change visors, use phase on, job's good. So yeah, next what I might do is I might do like a low percent guide for echoes, and then do 100% items and scans at a later date. Because I think that doing the low percent will actually make me a little bit more familiar with like the general layout of where stuff is for the 100%. Oh, here we go. So yeah, what you want to do is activate a power bomb as soon as you land in the phazon pit before you unmorph, and that'll take care of the Metroids. Then you can just power him as normal. Hopefully when you destroy the Metroids, they should drop power bombs like they have done, and you can keep doing that indefinitely. You know, obviously if they don't drop power bombs and you run out of power bombs, you're going to have to do things the hard way, but there it is. So yeah, next I think I might do low percent while I take the extra time to plan stuff out, because I can do planning at a separate time and just do low percent in the interim. But yeah. So yeah, it could be a good idea to do low percent on Metroid Prime Echoes, and I might do Metroid Prime 1 low percent, and then maybe do my 100% of Echoes. That's just what I'm feeling at the moment. Obviously drop a comment down below with like kind of what you would want, if you're interested in seeing one rather than another, or whether you're interested in both, or whether you're interested in seeing any other kind of challenge run. I mean, doing things like a reverse boss order could be quite interesting, or something like that. As I say, I don't plan on doing speedruns. I don't necessarily plan to do speedruns of the Metroid Prime games, just because they involve like a lot of out of bounds. And I want to avoid out of bounds unless it's absolutely necessary. I mean, obviously with low percent I'd probably have to do it. But I don't necessarily plan on getting the speedruns, because out of bounds stuff in Metroid is a little bit of a pain in the arse and a little bit boring. I like out of bounds stuff when it's just like a quick, easy skip. Like, obviously Perfect Dark in Defection, you can just go out of bounds and fall into the exit. It takes seconds. But with Metroid Prime, it doesn't look particularly good. It's not particularly fun to do, from my experience of it. So I want to kind of avoid that where possible. Obviously with low percent, it's just going to be part of the challenge, so it might be unavoidable. But I'm not going to stress myself out with a speedrun of it. But either way, I'm just wool gathering here to think of some ideas for what I'm going to do next. But I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough of Metroid Prime with 100%, and I hope it's helped you get everything you need, all in one. Now, of course, you may not be doing this all together. In fact, you're probably going to do 100% items and scans on one playthrough and hard on another. But regardless of what playthrough you're doing, hopefully this gives you some tips on how to overcome it. If you're doing hard mode, I would definitely recommend getting 100% of items at least, just because it'll make some of the parts and some of the bosses a little bit easier. But thanks for watching. I'll leave you to watch the final part of Metroid Prime, the final cutscene, and the secret ending. See you next video. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Bye.